Hey guys, David here, Arachnids here. We got Cheeto here in front of me. Cheeto is probably getting ready to flip over and molt. She's been busy doing some molt mat webbing. It's a pretty good indication that they're getting ready to do the process of molting. Now, I had just moved her enclosure over here with Arkham because I was trying to look at the Brachypelma albopilosum hobbyform female, and I looked over and Arkham was on top of this enclosure, so his enclosure was on top, and I looked over and she was flipped over. So I was like, oh, well, I've never seen him flip over before. So I took Arkham off, grabbed the light, put the light on there, turned around to put Arkham back on top of over here, and look over, and she had flipped back over again. And she's been, probably for the last half hour or so, adding to the webbing underneath her. And you could see now, most spiders will do some webbing in their enclosure, and the Asian species will do a little bit more than normal. But you could tell when they're getting ready to molt based on the amount of webbing that they put underneath them. There she's going right now. This is honestly the first time that I've ever caught one of them flipping over. See, now she'll settle in and she'll start to relax. Now, what the process is for a molting spider, and I'll explain this the best that I possibly can, is that they pump their fluid, which is their molting fluid. I'm not sure, I don't think it's the hemolymph, that's water or whatever it may be. I don't know that exact terminology, but what they do is they pump that fluid in between their old exoskeleton, which is what you see now, and the new exoskeleton underneath. And then that fluid gets pumped and pushed like a pressurized water system. So the first thing to go is the carapace. So the carapace is the thinnest part on the spider itself. So that pops off, and then the spider starts pushing itself out that way. So the spider will emerge with the carapace first, and the fangs will come out, and then they slowly, gradually push the legs off and out, and generally the abdomen area comes with that whole process. Then you'll see the spider curl their legs in, and then they move them all over the place. That's them pumping that fluid back into their joints and their legs to get them to be able to flip back over. And when they flip back over, they generally will pull their legs back in on top of them to protect them. And then the chitin or chitin, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, hardens, and that hardens the exoskeleton. Then within a couple days, you'll see the fangs turn from white to red, then to black. That process can take anywhere from a few days to a week. But keep in mind one thing with molting spiders, they harden from the outside in. So their whole system inside still has to go through that process of stretching out internally. Not like they get a new sucking stomach or anything like that. They're only changing their exoskeleton, so to say. People say changing their clothes or changing their coat or whatever it may be. But everything inside needs to get back in order. So that's why you need to wait to feed your tarantula for, depending on size, depending on species, anywhere from 4 days to a month. I generally, with slings, I try to wait 4 to 7 days, depending on the species. Grammostola, Faunopelma, some of your slower growing species, I may wait 10 days to 14 days to feed a sling. where Orphaneicus or Lasiodora or some other small slings, I may wait 4 days. Generally, if you see their fangs black, that means that their exoskeleton's hard enough they're not going to hurt themselves attacking prey if they want to eat. That doesn't necessarily mean that everything internally is good to go. So I'm going to let this roll for just a little while. We'll probably cut it off around the 7-minute mark, and then I'll just do some more clips as the night goes on, and hopefully she won't be doing this for hours upon hours, which she very well could be. The length of molting depends on the spider, depends on the size of the spider. I don't think there's any bearing on sex or age. I think it has more to do with maybe, I'm just guessing too, it could be just genus, a different, oh, I almost thought the Brachypelma vagans was flipped over too. Yeah, I'm not really quite sure how to gauge, how long it takes for different spiders to molt. I've never sat and watched one all the way through from the beginning to the end. Matter of fact, like I said, this is the first time I've actually watched one from the beginning, laying the web mat and flipping over. I've caught some that I've been watching and then, like 20 minutes later turn around and it's flipped over already, but I never ever captured it on film of them flipping over, and anything that goes on while they're molting. I've taken some pictures of a few. Speaking of molts, I've had 3 in the last 3 days. 2 today, 1 3 days ago. The Ephebopus marinus cinder, the small one, molted 3 days ago. Still has the green abdomen, which I like. I like the green abdomen on them. It's kind of attractive. She'll probably lose that on her next molt though. I couldn't tell the sex. The abdomen was so thin, so it was tough to get that thing opened up the right way where I needed to. I have a new little device, microscope, that goes with this, with my camera or the phone, that goes up to 30 times magnification, and I tested it out on a couple, and it really works well. They were like $6 at Walmart. So I was going to use that on that one, but I really couldn't get a good picture of, because I did kind of tear that at that one little spot. So when I was checking some of the other spiders today, the Pamphobedius pedersii male, quote unquote, molted. So I was like, oh, this is great. I knew it was coming because he's refusing food for a while, and his abdomen was dark, but it wasn't dark and shiny like the females was. And he had molted and threw his molt out already. He was all curled up in the corner. So based on what I saw, he molted sometime early this morning, because he still was a little bit translucent, but enough, you could see he was darkened enough that I would say probably 8 hours or so ago, sometime this morning. And then, but when I tried to unravel that molt, it completely tore on me. It's odd because I haven't torn a molt in forever. And then I noticed the Cambridgei had a lot more webbing in the enclosure there. So I looked, and there, of course, there was 2 spiders in there. The Cambridgei and the Cambridgei's molt. So Church molted, and Church is now a mature male. This is the one I suspected as a female for the last couple molts, but Church always ripped his molts. He didn't rip this one. I could have unraveled it, but there was absolutely no necessary reason to do it because the emboli was completely present. It was very easy to tell, and Semmelpaeus are very easy to tell mature males because they get those pipe cleaner legs. And as soon as I opened the enclosure, I saw those, and I said, oh no, not another one, because he'll be now the 3rd Cambridge that I raised. I had 4. One died as a sling, so this is the 4th one. 3 out of the 3 that have lived have all been mature males. That goes back with my bad luck with Armenias. The first 3 that I had were mature, all matured into males. The one that's going to Quentin is a male. So all I have, the only hope I have left is little Loki, the Salmopaeus armenia sling, that we can maybe, possibly, somehow get a female out of that. I don't know how I continually keep getting males over and over again. You guys just watch her for a minute. I'm looking at the Aphana palmacabelli and wondering if she molted up there. Oh no, she's just huddled up in the corner. God, I wish the Davus pennilorises would molt. So the little lividum, or lividus, depending on which genus name you're using, Cereopagapus or Lampropelma. I actually like the Cereopagapus name better. Is doing well. It's actually cleaning itself right now. But I am kind of looking forward to the deal I made with Pulp Friction, getting a Grammostola grossa, another tarantula black. It's got a little bit of red in it. They're called the Pampas tawny red, I believe. They get bigger. Now they're a bigger species, and I guess they're a little bit more on the nastier side of the Grammostola species, but they're not very common, and the pulchras are so popular, and now people are looking, because the pulchras have dried up, people are now looking for the Brachypelma shortderi, because I think that they're actually a tad bit more blacker and a little bit more velvety and smaller. They're only a 4 to 5 inch spider versus a 7 to 8 inch pulchra, and I think the Grammostola grossa are about the same size. I think they're actually a tad bit bigger than the pulchra. I think the pulchra are about 7 inches, and the grossa may go to 8. But I'm pretty excited about that, and getting the Ornithoctinae oreotibialis be another pet hole, but they are very, very strikingly beautiful spiders when you actually do get to see them. And then getting another one of these guys, Orphanacus philippinus, and it's nice that she's molting here, because hopefully we'll be able to confirm now. Her ventral shot was, I'm 99% positive she's a female, but we could be surprised here and she could molt and become a mature male just like that. But everybody that I showed the picture to all agreed the ventral shot was female, and I kind of trust the people that gave me that ID, and it went right with what I felt it was. So yeah, we'll see how big she gets here. She'll probably be able to live in this enclosure for this molt, and we'll have to consider moving her into something different when we get closer to the next molt. So I'm going to upload this so you guys kind of get an update of what's going on and what to look forward to, and we'll try to get some more footage of her as she starts to pop and do that. Hopefully by the time this is uploaded, I'll be able to start refilming her doing the next part of the molting process. So we'll see you guys later, and then if I get more footage, I'll do all the footage together. So we'll get some molting stuff. Hopefully when she's done with the molt popped off, getting her, moving her legs, and then hopefully flipping back over. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for what's to come with this little lady, and we'll see you guys soon.